Hey, welcome to another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast with your host, comedian, keynote speaker, content delivery coach, Mike Goodwin, bow tie comedy. Been doing this podcast for quite a while, got some more feedback, so I'm going to incorporate it. As y'all all know, I typically the podcast with On the Road. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to switch it up. I definitely want to give a shout out to my guy, my frat brother, Dr. Robert Duckworth. I met Robert, man, years ago. I was just getting started doing stand-up. It probably, I want to say 2009. I mean, it's been a minute. But I met him. There was this comedy conference organization used to be called the Official Christian Comedy Association, OCCA, the Official Christian Comedy Association. Why I laughed? Because at the time there was a Christian Comedy Association, CCA. So you had OCCA and CCA. Y'all want to know the difference? Huh? Can you guess the difference between OCCA and CCA? One was for black folks, and one was for non-black folks or white folks. Now, if you talk to the organizers, they probably would say that's not true. Both groups are for everybody. However, the breakdown of the membership pretty much was the majority of the members of the OCCA, since rebranded and renamed, were black comics, comics of color. Then you had the CCA, which it's similar to gospel music and contemporary Christian music. And I haven't even taken the time to delve into like, why does these two things exist? I can remember growing up and listening at the time when I was a child. 89.7 WMHK was the Christian station, if I'm not mistaken. And then 95.3, I believe, was the gospel station. And every now and then you would hear some gospel songs on the Christian contemporary stage. You'd be like, hey, man, that's not Kurt Franklin singing that song over there. That's somebody else. So there is, and again, I haven't taken the time to do research, but in my little mind, in my thought, and I've seen this I've seen some other folks post things like this on social media. It was like, why don't the contemporary stations just play the Israel and the New Breed version of the song? Why do they have to get someone else to re-record it? Now, I don't know. I'm just telling you how I used to see it. I don't really see it any kind of way now because I listen to the music I listen to, and I don't necessarily listen to a radio station. Like, I find artists, I enjoy their music, but I don't necessarily dial in to K-Love or to Good Mornings with Erica Campbell. Like, they're different platforms that promote different types of genres of Christian music, right? I'm on Spotify. So Spotify, if I listen to a group, if I listen to Lecrae, they'll be like, hey, here's some Lecrae music for you. If you listen to the Elevation group or the Elevation choir or the Elevation praise team, they'll be like, hey, if you like that, here's some other God and Country. Here's some more. Since you like that, it's kind of like Amazon when you buy something. It's like, hey, we saw you listening to this. People that normally listen to this too. But that's why I met Robert at it was in Nashville, the Official Christian Comedy Association conference. Great guy, great comedian, but now he's a counselor and he does some comedy, but he preaches. Man of God, does a lot of training, teaching, and he was in Columbia, South Carolina this past weekend. He and his beautiful wife, we were able to kick it and hang out. I was looking for some YouTube stuff. I couldn't find it, but Robert Duckworth has one of the best Tavis Smiley impersonations, and it tears me apart. Like, it's so funny because he sounds just like him. And I think what's amazing to me about that is when you hear people do impersonations, they typically will impersonate people that other people have been impersonating. So anytime I see like a person that pops up doing comedy and they're doing impersonation, they're going to do Denzel Washington. They're going to do Jay-Z. They're going to do Kevin Hart. It's pretty similar, the groups of people that they select. Most people aren't choosing Tavis Smiley. And maybe that because of the time period is back in the day. But I love to hear people impersonate voices that you don't typically hear. That just cracks me up. So shout out to my guy, Robert Duckworth. But I'm going to start this episode after the shout out with the best advice ever. I'm going to give y'all the best advice ever at the top. Again, I had my TSP meeting, met a young lady, and we had some conversation with two women in particular. We just kind of were brainstorming about my business, and this woman did a deep dive into my brand, and one of her recommendations was to move the best advice to the beginning of the podcast. See how that works. And I was like, okay, cool. I was trying to hide it like an Easter egg, but we can come out the gate with it, especially if you just popping in, you just want to hear it and get on about your business. I feel that. So today's best advice ever is you can choose the game, but you can't choose the rules. And that's simply to say, respect authority. You can choose the game, but you can't choose the rules. This was in a book that I was reading recently, and that resonated with me. Like there are times in life I choose games that I want to play. I choose to play chess. Well, if I'm gonna play chess, I can't come to chess with Monopoly rules. I have to learn the rules or abide by the rules, adhere to the rules of the game that I've chosen to play. So in life, if you're married, there are married rules. And for your marriage to be successful, for your endeavors to be successful, you need to play by the rules. Now, there's a rule, like I follow rules that are of a godly dynamics because I'm a Christian. But also, I think that there are rules that are within the fellowship of me and my wife. We have established rules that both of us say, hey, this is appropriate, this is inappropriate. I have an issue with this, I have no issue with that. So you can choose the game. You can't choose the rules. Figure out how to operate alongside of authority. Again, I'm not telling you to adhere to oppressive authority or authority that is manipulative or authority that is punitive or that is detrimental to your health and well-being. I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am telling you is when you join an organization, you affiliate yourself with an institution, you can choose all of those affiliations, but you don't choose the rules. It's important for you to conduct yourself in the manner in which the organization, the game, the institution was established. Now, can you work within the bounds of the organization, institution to change? Yes, of course. But you got to be in the game to change the game. So that's the best advice ever. You can choose the game, but you can't choose the rules. Hopefully that resonates with you like it resonated with me. Speaking of resonated, I'm often thinking about protecting my joy. There's a lot of things that happen in life that will steal your joy. I mean, we have just witnessed, and it's very, very, very bewildering, I think is a good word, of what just happened this weekend with the former President Trump. I'm astonished. I'm at a place with no words. Y'all been following me for a while. I don't comment primarily on politics, even though there's a lot of political things to talk about. Like they could, oh my goodness. Matter of fact, the debate, there was something that Joe Biden said at the debate that someone, what happens is things become memes and things become they become part of everyday conversation and language. And I guess something happened at the debate, and I think this is what asked about Kamala Harris becoming something about stepping in, or President Biden stepping down, and he was just like, "It's not gonna happen." Well, I saw that on Twitter, and someone had put a meme up like, when my wife asked me to stop playing college 25, the video game, the guy's like, "It's not gonna happen." So that's hilarious. That has nothing to do with the right or the left. There's things that's just absolutely hilarious. So I again, I think if you ever pay attention to what I do comedically, I write jokes where my intent is that 100% of the room will laugh. So not that it's not controversial, and not that it doesn't evoke strong feelings, because my jokes apparently evoke strong feelings. I just want whatever I'm saying to be funnier than some type of perspective. I'm not trying to say, oh, this side's right, this side's wrong, this side's right. So if I were to do some jokes about something that's happened politically, it would have to be so funny that regardless of what side you find yourself sitting on the aisle, you're going to laugh. And it's not going to happen. It's hilarious. It's hilarious to me. Donald Trump, in all of how he operates and moves, there's been so many things that have just been hilarious. I live in South Carolina. There's a lot of there's a lot of opportunity to utilize politics as fodder, or as a base, but it's very distracting, because I don't want it's remember, I liken it to, on social media, there was a time some years ago, it's been years ago, where I would get on social media and I would talk about my allegiance to my college or professional teams. Like, I would be on social media, like blowing the trumpet when my team wins. I would be, getting into discussions with other people that are fans of other teams that are rivals, or not, fans of my team. And I was conducting myself in that manner. But then people were conducting themselves in that manner on my page. So if my team lost, people would come to my page. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that interception really did y'all in, whatever. Like, and I started understanding, like, man, I don't want this energy. Like, I don't want, when some random thing happens to my team, that you come and make comments on my page. So I just stopped talking about sports, especially my allegiance to a particular team, because I didn't want that feedback. I didn't want to be having these discussions. Same is true with, I used to really spend a lot of time online talking about my workouts. I used to call my workout Operations No T-Shirt. I would post, I was a member of Orange Theory Fitness. I would post my splat points at the end of a workout. I would post just different times when I would be in the gym, going to the gym, running the dam here in town, just all these things. And then I would notice people would be talking to me about, did I work out today? Did you get your workout in? Hey man, you need to see this video about working out. Oh, did you see this? I'm like, man, I don't want people talking to me about working out. I'm a comedian. So I stopped doing all that stuff online. But I still work out. I still go to the gym. I still talk to people that I get inspiration and encouragement from, who are gym folks. I just don't do it online. So that's the similar type of vibe I don't want with politics. I talk about politics with friends and close family members, or people I choose to do that. I just don't want my platform to be on some political agenda, which I really don't hold. I'm a Christian, so I do my best to align my faith with my politics. If I even have politics, I don't. I think I'm very apolitical. If you want me to be honest, but I'm very conservative, and I'm very liberal, and I'm very apathetic. So it's a lot that I got going on. And I don't even feel so vehemently passionate. Like, this is unacceptable. And I don't put my faith in either political party. Like, I'm not looking at any party. I don't look at any party like they have the answer for my life. I'm going to hook my wagon up to one of these parties. You're going to see me as a delegate at the national convention. And hey man, you be surprised the ways I vote. Over the years, I've voted all over the place, right? But saying that, I'm all about dialogue. I'm all about I would love to see things from a perspective of reasonable minded conversation. I'm not right about everything. I'm open to learn and grow and realize what I don't necessarily have information about. I have my belief system. I have things that I feel very strongly about. But I am very mindful of not giving somebody a lightning rod to you said, hey man, I'm nuanced. Life is more than black and white. Like, it's a lot of gray. It's a lot of gray. And I'm a person that I spend time in the gray, man. Look at that. I got gray today. Got gray today. I'm just trying to be a better individual than I was yesterday. Trying to be a great father, a great husband, great man of God, a person of faith, great comedian, great brother, son, all those things. I'm not on any witch hunt or any kind of covert agenda. My agenda is Jesus, right? That's my agenda. And I'm even, evaluating, what does that even mean, right? As it relates to how I operate in life. So shout out to protecting your joy. And I said all that just to say that I'm constantly looking for things that keep me laughing. And one of the things that I'm laughing at tremendously, I find great joy. I don't know if y'all seen this. Jonathan Majors was on the top of the hill, top of the heap, killing the game. And then some videos of him and his girlfriend and running through the streets of New York. Like, I'm not all the way in with what he got going on, but I was enjoying the guy's ascension. Like, he was on Men's Health magazine that I had a subscription to, where I was hiding the cover because this man was all cut up and juiced up. I don't know if he was juiced up. That's more like a steroid allegation. I don't know if my man used steroids, but he was in there looking like a Greek god, looking like a Greek god on the magazine. And I just ain't want that to be laying around my house. That need to be covered up, right? And he had some great, like, I watched that Western he played in on Netflix. I really enjoyed that. He was in something else that I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm like, man, dude's a great actor. And something about Jonathan Majors reminds me of MLK. Like this. Now, I know he made a comment that received some backlash about he needs a Coretta Scott King type. But there's something about that dude that makes me think of Martin Luther King Jr. I just don't, maybe, I don't know what it is. Because I don't know Jonathan Majors. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Martin Luther King, but I find him to be a very intriguing individual because I think of him like, and I have some friends I even personally that could fall in this category, like like boy preachers. Like they're individuals that knew at a very young age that they were going to go into the ministry. And maybe that resonates with me because that could have been my story. Then I broke left. Like I broke right. I broke some direction. Because if you would have talked to me maybe third, fourth, maybe probably like the fifth grade, I was going to be a preacher. And I don't think I was like excited about being a preacher. But I was just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna be a preacher. Because when in my, me growing up, I grew up in a church. I wore glasses and I had the ability to communicate effectively. So, oh, you're gonna be a preacher. Well, you look like a preacher. And then I have a bunch of preachers in my family. Like I have two uncles that are preachers. And then we have like some uncles or side uncles. I don't know what you call these uncles, but they're uncles of uncles or brothers of like my grandfather's brother. It's like a few of those guys were preachers. So preaching all is in our blood. There's a lot of preaching going on. And I'm looking at, y'all grew up at the time with my uncles. I guess you would have your sermons on records, like albums. So I grew up looking at album covers with my uncle on them, and he was preaching. He wasn't singing, but it was very impressive. Like you have this tangible album cover with an album of a sermon, but all the people that you aspire to, you look up to, New Edition, Michael Jackson, they have album covers too. So my uncle has an album cover. He's a preacher. I think that's incredible. I'm probably going to be a preacher too, right? And then I got into middle school and I'm like, nah, I ain't for that preaching life. That ain't me. That ain't me, bro. I ain't no sir, Bob. Like many are called, but few are chosen. I don't even know if I was called. I heard my instead of, it wasn't Michael, it was Mark. They would call him Mark or Melvin. But I heard that M. I thought it was, they called him. No, I wasn't called. So I think that's why, like dudes that have been like my pastor's like that. My pastor's been a boy preacher. Like his whole life, he's known he was gonna preach to God. So I'm intrigued by those guys because I sometimes not like wonder. Like I just like, ooh, had I not been like, nah, I ain't gonna do that, I would have been on that path. I would have been out here with my little briefcase getting my preach on. I'm telling you, by the time I got to the sixth grade, I was a fully functioning church boy. But then in the sixth grade, I was like, man, I don't want to be the church boy because I started cussing. Man, I had that nice little cussing, nice little run. I enjoyed using these cuss words. But I was a Pharisee though when I was a kid. I didn't have a heart for ministry. I was just like, I just wanted to be right. I wanted to say, ooh, you gonna get in trouble. Like, I wasn't a good Christian, right? I was a Pharisee. I was a rule. I was a taskmaster. Look at you. Shame on you. That's not good Christianity. So I was that guy. Then I got into sixth grade. I started using that language. I was like, oh, no more pointing the finger at other people. I got enough going on over here. But however, all that to say, something about Jonathan Majors makes me think about MLK to the degree of what brings me great joy. I don't know if y'all seen this clip of Jonathan Majors dancing. Now, oftentimes they've put shout out to my dude Alton Walker because he made a version of They Not Like Us, but it's like an old uncle. They not like us. So people have put that song on the dance, and they put the Not Like Us regular song. But it looks like my man is in a step show. He throws up what appears to be like some Like he had a like few moves. Like sometimes it was like a military pointing down, like when you step and you point your arms. He did that. He seemed like he threw the yo one time, which is not my fraternity. But then he did this little move where he put his hands behind his behind his shoulder, like he was doing the Charleston or so. But that was unbridled joy. Like to watch that man juke. That's what he was doing. He was juking. Man, that does something to me. I go look at that pretty regularly because it's unbridled joy. It's like he oh my gosh, man. People, the internet's out of control. He looks like he's having the time of his life. You know that saying where people say dance like nobody's watching. That's how Mr. Majors is dancing in that clip. And it tickles me. That thing makes me laugh. Makes me laugh, belly laughs. All right. Shout out to the young MLK. Jonathan Majors from Creed. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this up. Now I probably can use on the road. I was on the road most recently. Camp Hope Hills. I don't know what part of Alabama. I flew into Birmingham, but we drove to the camp. It was a Camp McDonald. It's probably like an hour, hour and 10 minutes away from Birmingham. Like a camp, in cabins. But I did a comedy show for the group. It's my second year doing it. Had a wonderful time. But I had an interesting day of travel because I flew out of Columbia that Thursday morning, made it to Alabama around 10:30, 11. I did my set at 1. Then I got driven back to Birmingham to catch a flight at 5 to go to Myrtle Beach. So went from Myrtle Beach, went from Birmingham to Atlanta. My flight was supposed to leave Atlanta at 10 o'clock. I think we ended up leaving Atlanta around 11:30. I ended up getting to my hotel at 1:30 in the morning. And I had the keynote the next day. The keynote next day was at 1 o'clock for a group called PMPA. It's Piedmont Municipal Power Association, if I'm not mistaken. But that was an interesting day because the keynote was in this it was the embassy, but it was the Kingston Plantation. And I didn't do this because I did talk about the plantation joke, but the AC wasn't working in these rooms. So they had these big airplane hangar fans, and man, I was up there burned up. I had this wool. I didn't have this jacket on, but I had my keynote. You know, one thing about me, I'm kind of a creature of habit. If I'm doing a keynote, I typically got some keynote blazers. When I'm doing stand up, I got my stand up. My stand up stuff got a little bit more pop. My keynote stuff is a little bit more conservative in it, how it looks. So it was 1,000 degrees in that blazer. Also, I talked about the giveaway from God Ain't Petty, But I Am. My girl Jennifer Jasper. She's giving a gift card. I'm going to extend it to August the 1st. Send me in your petty comparisons. Like I said, Eddie Murphy was one of the ones I used. Petty Murphy. So send me again. You can email me this at info@comedianmikegoodwin. You can DM me on Instagram, on Facebook. You can leave it in the YouTube link. You can make comments on the YouTube page. Well, but speaking of, I probably need a petty segment because, again, people come. I don't know if y'all saw Coach Staley, which I'm a big fan of. Coach Staley won the XB. She won an award in the ESPYs, and I think she won the Jimmy V Award. And she was saying that she was honored, and all the folks that won before, she felt like they were the true winners, and she was just on the sideline. But one of the things she talked about was she still claps back at people on social media. And I have that same challenge. I'm still challenged by this. I had this woman, I'm not going to tell you her name, but she has my mother and her, this woman has the same name. Older woman too. Like, I wouldn't look, because I look, you leave me a comment, I'm going to leave you, I'm going to go check you out. So this woman put on my, she sent me a inbox. Like, she DM'd me, "You are not funny at all." This is what this woman sent me. I don't know this woman. To see a picture, she looks like she could be my grandmother. This is the kind of woman she looks like. So I go poking around on her page because I don't know this lady. So I find out some things about her, and this is how I responded in the highest of pettyosity. I'm too petty, but I'm gonna clap back. So this woman, she wrote to me. She said, "You are not funny at all." If she would have said to me, then I'm good. But you can't say I'm not funny at all, and you see all these 300,000 people follow me. What are you talking about? Like, you a crazy person. Now, if you say you are not funny at all to me, I ain't got nothing on that. Respect. So you're not funny at all. So I went and found some information from looking around on her page, and I wrote, "Well, I hope you find out who vandalized your car. You seem like a warm, kind church mother. Who would do such a thing? And it's also good that I have manners and chose not to send unpleasant messages to your inbox. Blessings." And I said a name. So maybe I should win the petty award. I should get the gift certificate. Well, I'm King Petty. I'm I'm Petty Lamar. I was trying to say Kendrick Lamar. Like, hey, don't come for me, because they not like us. They not like us. Shout out to y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. I like this new format. I didn't tarry long at the microphone, because that other format, I was just going on and on and on to the break of dawn, like LL Cool J. To the break of dawn. Boop, boop. To the break of dawn. I wish I knew that. First, give me one line, I can go right into the verses. All right, y'all. I think this is it. This is done. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Follow me on social media. Also, check me out. I have this upcoming week, I'll be in Greenville, North Carolina. I'll be in Greenville, South Carolina, Hickory, North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Big Dad Energy Tour. Do my Carolina run. If you know folks that are in the area, let them know. Come out. We're gonna have a great night of comedy, depending on what time I'm at your city. I'm in Greensboro at 4:00. So I can go do the Greensboro show and go watch the WNBA All-Star Weekend. I think that Saturday night with a U.S. select team plays the WNBA, All-Stars. I'm looking forward to that. Look forward to that game. Well, also shout out to the summer, man. Again, I'm not a huge football guy, but man, this basketball stuff has been I've been enjoying it, because we got the WNBA going on. They got the summer league going on. I've been getting my sports fix. I do not feel deprived, and I'm not watching. I'm not a baseball guy. I may watch a little bit of the World Series when that comes around. Didn't watch much of the Stanley Cup. Maybe some of this Olympics. I think I'll tune in for a couple of Olympics, especially the basketball. Maybe some of the track and field. But I hope your summer is going as well as mine, man. Please stay warm, because it is a heat wave going on in South Carolina. Well, I'll see y'all next time, man. Thank y'all for coming out. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. I'll be back again next week, same bat channel, same bat place. All right, y'all. Y'all be easy. Peace.